familiar opponent coming up this weekend in Southeastern Louisiana that you guys saw last year. But I guess for you guys, just trying to get everybody healthy and get everybody back out there is probably goal number one, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, we are a little banged up right now. Cooper McMurray's going to be a little while with his ankle. Bobby, that hamstring is still affecting. It's good to get him some at-bats. So I think he got 4 at-bats here in these midweek contests. Gonzalez is back throwing, but we're going to hold him and try to get some bullpen stuff going before we're able to put him in. So that's pointing toward Arkansas now as far as an update. Kaysen, we kind of held him out last night there. He has a track record and history of having to deal with it. We trust him a lot. Guys are just in that stretch where you try to play as many games you can. You try to get 56 games in, you're trying to front load your schedule with playing some games. So it's good from that standpoint, but at the same time, we got one more non-conference weekend against Southeastern Louisiana. They were here last year, so, played them the first game of the regional. And to speak on them a little bit, man, we didn't see their identity because, Cole Foster hit the 2 home runs. I think we scored 10 runs in the first inning, and we did not get to see that game didn't allow them to do what they normally do. And, hey, that's one way to attack it. But if you look, the things that jump out to you about Southeastern Louisiana is, they've already 9 or 10 wins in the season. 8 of their starting hitters return, so their whole lineup returns for them. In 12, 13 games, we're probably looking where we've had 10 or 15 hit by pitches. They've been hit by 55 pitches. Hit batters is incredible to me. We probably stole around 10 bases. They've stolen 47 bases. They're going to be on top of the plate, crowding. And usually when somebody's that good at running the bases and playing the gamesmanship piece, they're probably pretty good at picking up signs and doing things of that nature. So they got a lot of cat and mouse going on. They got a lot of action. As long as they're in a ball game, that's their identity. And so we're going to have to be able to pitch good. They're trying to get to a couple of guys to do damage. And, so keeping those base runners off, keeping ownership of home plate is big for us in this series. So it's good, though. We haven't seen a team that's going to run this much and present maybe some different challenges standing in the box the way they have. So it's been 4 weekends, and this is be the 4th different opponent that will teach us a lot.
What did you think about Irish in his play at first base in those 2 games?
Yeah, both games. I felt great about it. He ranged over for some foul balls. He had a ball kind of in between, a little soft liner last night. He went for it. Man, he loves to play. We talk about in our program, if you could say and what you want your culture to be of that self-confidence and no excuses. Ike has passed the confidence test, and he goes right at it first base, no problem. Backside, two more RBIs last night was huge in that point of the ball game. I think that was our 3rd and 4th runs. But he's handled the ball. He tried to help Cole on his throwing mistake last night. He picked it and did a swipe. So I would say I'm beyond pleased in the 2 days. Now, there's a lot of plays that hadn't come up for him that are unique to a first baseman. But I would say after these 2 days, my answer would be I feel like we can do that. I feel like we can play him there. So that's good. And that really, the seas kind of parted there when Cooper went down, and now we're taking a look at that. But Irish, Stanfield, those guys like to play, and that's fun to watch. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but those guys love to play and have the right mindset. So I love what both those guys have been doing currently.
And what's the plan for your rotation this weekend?
Yeah, we'll go, the double midweek and really just trying to play in some of these close games here lately and trying to figure out and everybody, get these bullpen pieces going. We've turned into some guys. I would say going into the weekend, on the respect for Southeastern Louisiana, our offense is cooled just a little bit, but the pitching has picked up, so that's positive. But we've dug into some bullpen arms. So it's unique. We'll get to some more of our depth here at the first of this weekend, where it seemed like these first 3 weeks it's been at the back of the weekend before you get to some youth. So I think a couple of bullpen arms are going to need a couple of more days. Let's do Bauman again, because we used Alsop on the weekend in relief, and we used him again Tuesday night against UAB. So Bauman to go, and we'll move Crotchfeld up a day, and we'll go TBA for Sunday. I think both programs are TBA for Sunday. They've announced their first 2 guys as well. But it'll be with Bauman and Crotchfeld going Friday, Saturday. That'll be 4 left-handed starting pitchers in a row. I can't remember doing that in a while. So Vail threw great, Copeland threw great, and hopefully Bauman and Crotchfeld, and then kind of figure out what we've had to do in the bullpen. Hate to play weatherman, but Sunday looks like a tougher forecast. We'll wait 24 hours till we get in the late afternoon on Friday to make any decisions, so it's not a big deal. But that Sunday forecast might be the first. This is the first weekend this year where I've sat here and thought about we might be forced into looking at a Saturday doubleheader, which will be tough, but we always try to do the right thing. Copeland's interesting from his outing last night, because if you look at his career with us as a starter and as a reliever, we already knew it basically, but and as a starter he's got a .6 ERA, and as a reliever it's just over an 8. But
that's a major difference.
Just amazing. A 211 versus 370 batting average. No home runs versus 4 home runs. Just in his 4 starts in his career has been absolutely tremendous. In the 9 relief appearances, not quite the same. So we're still learning and getting more convicted in our stuff, and that's why we do some of these splits and things. But yeah, I like the 4 lefty starters here, and then what do you do with Vail? That's going to be really interesting. So that's good, and we have some other options. But Cannon and Alsop, Isbell, finding the right spots for these guys, and they've done some good work the last week for us, and hopefully get some of these guys back. Bobby and Kaysen are on my mind. Cooper, we know that's going to be 2 or 3 weeks. It's like treating it like a high ankle sprain, so he's still in a boot. I saw him today at practice, and just keep marching forward as these new guys get an opportunity to lead our program and get up in the front of that spearhead and kind of lead us. The other thing I've been pleased by is the depth, how many guys can play for us and contribute.
On Vail, if the idea is to get him to be a starter for Arkansas, would you use him maybe out of the bullpen this weekend, or just want to set him up for a bullpen? How do you think you might do that?
Yeah, we'll point him toward that. That's a big pitch camp for him. I think he was north of 80. The goal would be what we're asking him to do, I guess, to answer your question, is can you come back in and give us 1 or 2 on Sunday in relief? Or maybe we dump him in there to start him for 2 innings and open the game.
Right.
You've heard us talk about that a little bit. So he might be an opener, and we use the Alsop a lot. If those 2 guys could maybe come back Sunday, I don't think I could use either one of those guys before then. But if they could be 2 pieces short, I think that does set us for the next weekend. Because if we wanted to throw Vail next weekend at Arkansas, I don't think I'd want it to be from the midweek with a short turnaround. But then you got Georgia Tech coming. We're just trying to win each day, and then we're going to the next day. But we are learning a lot. And what does John Wooden say? True success is defined by effort and process, not results. We're getting some wins, but I'm getting good effort from our guys. We're staying on a process. We're not getting caught up in the wins and losses. Nothing would be different for us, and our goals wouldn't be changed if we were 1-11 and 11-1. I've liked how the coaches have coached, and I like how the players have just continued to play. And I like what we're learning about our guys. But, Vail's like 13 strikeouts, 1 walk, and just how he's handled the zone and his comfort that he's given everybody, the comfort in the field, the comfort with our staff. I would be honest, I'm trying to point him toward the Arkansas weekend. I don't think there's any question about that.
And you talked preseason about this pitching staff's going to have to sort of grow as the season went on. Are you seeing it take its steps forward? Are you seeing it sort of get to where you want it to be?
I think so. Last night we cherished in our meeting today, Isabel with inherited runners was able to get us out of an inning. You know, Herbert Holt's got a couple of starts, and now we're feeding him back to some relief appearances. These guys at the end of the day that get an opportunity for us, and we pitched a lot of guys so far, they're not going to be able to look back at the end of the year and say I wasn't exposed to everything, that I didn't gain experience, that I wouldn't put in a lot of different roles. We've taken care of a lot of that early in the season, maybe better than compared to some in the past. So I'm excited. They've been turned inside and out and played different roles, and you know, doing a good job competing. I think we're getting good, and it's not just. I just don't think we can win a game offensively. These last 3 games have given us some confidence in that the guys can pitch a little bit when we're not, you know, linking it up and swinging it like crazy. And then I think the other thing that we haven't talked about yet today is just it's been pretty sound defense. I think that's 8 errors on the season for our ball club, and I think for the most part some things are correctable, but nonetheless, you know that some misplays are going to happen here or there, and I think we've been competitive, solid, consistent defensively. We can do it behind the plate when we need to. I think we can do enough on the infield. I've been so pleasantly surprised by the left side with Foster and Ware, to be honest with you. And then we've touted the whole time the ability and the different looks and the depth that we have in the outfield. So I'm still happy to report. I love where we're at defensively. Can always get better. Pitching's growing a little bit. We're starting to. We've won some low-scoring games. Some guys are pitching better. Some guys are starting to bounce back, throwing 2 times in a weekend. John Armstrong, what he's done the last 2 weekends, Friday, Sunday, or the 2 appearances in a weekend. I do think we're starting to see some growth with our pitching staff.
Thank you.
All right. Good.